I wasn't fast enough. They told me I wasn't big enough. They told me I wouldn't be able to make it. I wouldn't be able to do it. Guess what? I'm okay tonight. For real. This is Monday and we at work. We at work.
I dare you to be great. Make it happen.
Never afraid of that.
Steps up to the pocket, looks, he's hit the ball, comes out, it's picked off by the Seahawks. Russell takes the snap, looks downfield, got a man Baldwin, makes the catch over his shoulder, 45, all the way down inside the 30, out of the 20.
What's up, man? There's not enough 89 jerseys in the stand. We got to do something about that.
Wilson looks, gonna throw in the end zone, got a man wide open, touchdown! Seahawks! Doug Baldwin in the left corner of the end zone.
We're 11-1. We want to know today. That's all that matters.
And Dave, Baldwin's production has been impressive. Touchdowns in 3 of the last 4 games. In fact, since Sidney Rice went down, the entire receiving corps' production hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah, well, and especially Doug Baldwin. You look at what he's done since that time when Sidney Rice was injured. He's almost doubled his yardage per game average. He's caught 3 touchdowns as opposed to just 1 in the first 8 games. And the other thing about Doug Baldwin, he's been targeted 55 times. He's caught 40 of those passes. I could not find a receiver in the NFL with a higher catch percentage than Doug Baldwin. That makes him the most sure-handed receiver in the NFL, and that's even going up against guys like Wes Welker, A.J. Green, Calvin Johnson, all of those guys. Doug Baldwin catches the ball at a more consistent rate than any of those receivers.
The Seahawks defense was able to shut down Drew Brees in one of the top offenses in the NFL. What can the Niners take from that game to try and take advantage of and attack the Seahawks defense this week?
That'll be interesting to find out. I'm not quite sure. We'll see how Jim Harbaugh and offensive coordinator Greg Roman decide to attack this defense. And last year in the game down at Candlestick, they had a pretty creative blocking scheme with some influence blocking and traps and things like that. But I think the factor this year that cancels that out is Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator. Certainly no knock on Gus Bradley, but Dan Quinn, being an old D-line coach, is really good with those technical things of how to stop the run during a game. And then you look at the matchup problems. What happened last week with New Orleans? The linebackers for the Seahawks, KJ Wright and Bobby Wagner, were able to handle Jimmy Graham and Darren Sproles, so I don't think there's going to be a matchup problem. The one thing I do worry about, Kaepernick, he's not a very sophisticated quarterback, but he is wildly athletic and he's got a cannon for an arm.
Always a tough game in San Francisco. In fact, the Seahawks haven't won in the Bay Area, at least against the Niners, since 2008. Here's what the Seahawks had to say about this game.
We love playing games like this. It's very physical, and it's going to be a defensive side of the game. Especially, I don't want to say that because I know Russell's been on the tear, but I think in my heart that's what it'll be. I always expect the worst.
Every week's championship week, we go out there and play our ball game, execute, make a great game plan. Our coaches do a great job scouting, and we go out there and worry about what we have to do. We don't worry about anything else.
I'm back here in studio with Dave, and Vernon Davis is going to be a big threat tomorrow, but Jimmy Graham, the Seahawks handled him pretty well, including KJ Wright last week.
Yeah, and this is probably the biggest threat in the league as far as the tight end goes, Jimmy Graham, and you see they split him out outside like a receiver. So instead of doing anything too complicated, they just bump KJ Wright out there, the linebacker, and you see the way his body's turned. He wants to funnel the receiver to the outside. He doesn't want to get beat across his face. He does a great job of playing defensive back here. When you can get this kind of play out of your linebackers, it makes everything simple on defense.
He gets a little help from Cam Chancellor, but it doesn't even look like he needed it, and gets a little friendly fire as well.
Yeah, a little friendly fire there, and I think Cam said, hey, if I'm going to come that far, I'm going to hit somebody, even if it's you, KJ. Here's KJ inside here. He's kind of in a little bunch here. You got 3 receivers all bunched up inside. KJ's going to kind of back off and take this inside receiver, and he does a good job of getting back across and in between the quarterback and the receiver, and you see eventually he makes the play down near the goal line. Really nice job job. I mean, you don't really expect your linebackers to have those kind of coverage skills. That's just a bonus that you get out of KJ Wright there.
Preventing Benjamin Watson from the catch. How about here on the screen to bit Darren Sproles?
KJ has been great against screens all year long. There's Sproles right there, very quick. Tough matchup for him, but the thing he does is he gets in the backfield past the blocking quickly and is able to secure the tackle.
And that's what he does very well in this one. If you can win those one-on-one matchups, it makes it so much easier for the rest of your team. Hopefully the Seahawks can do that against the Niners tomorrow night. Coming up on Seahawks Saturday night, we go one-on-one with head coach Pete Carroll as he talks about Russell Wilson's chances for league MVP.
He's taken part in a great season for us, and if it comes down to the end and we're in a great situation to finish high in the whole thing, then he will be considered.
And later, we learn more about safety Chris Maragos as Greg Scruggs takes the mic in our Get to Know Your Teammates segment.
Seahawks Saturday Night is brought to you by your Western Washington Toyota dealers. See why critics say you're in good hands with Almost Human.
Thanks, man. You're welcome, my friend. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
This week I can talk to them that we're not changing anything. We've already done all of the things that we need to do to be prepared for this kind of a matchup, and so we don't make a big deal about it. We just go play football the way we have. If you're in a championship situation, then you've done the stuff that's worthy of it. And I don't want to change because that matchup takes on a different name.
What's the genesis of that philosophy?
Well, it just came together really in the years at SC that it was so important for us to find a way to be steady about our performance, and we saw that so many teams were trying to make a big deal about playing us and the hype and the build-up and all of that. It just made more sense to me that I wanted to control what we could control, which is our performance, and not try to factor in who you're playing or where you're playing them or what's at stake and all of that. And it's hopefully it's a key to long-term success and kind of staying even-keeled about all of the matchups as you go through the schedule.
Russell Wilson was named NFC Offensive Player of the Week. He said after the game on Monday night that he had texted you earlier in the week saying that it was one of the best weeks of practice that you guys had. What goes in and what makes a good practice?
Well, there's a lot of organization that goes into it to make sure that the practices run really smoothly. Each of our practices has a theme, and we want to make sure that we're on task with what the theme is, so the players know what the coaches know, so that we emphasize something that really happens during that day. And then when the preparation is there and the kind of the setup is all organized, then it's the coaches that make a good practice to me. They're the ones that really direct the focus and the attention to detail and the kind of juice that we want in our practices, and then the players will do whatever we ask of them. So it's really most of it's on the outside. It's not on the players so much because we're going to make them do what they got to do, So and then hopefully we've had a very competitive day because we're trying to compete at everything. So if it's a competitive day at the end of it, then I know it was a good day for us.
There's been talk about Russell Wilson kind of stepping into that MVP conversation. Are you surprised it took many of the analysts nationally to hop on board?
No, I know, because I don't know about those conversations. Russell's playing great football and he's taken part in a great season for us. And if it comes down to the end and we're in a great situation to finish high in the whole thing, then he will be considered.
Linebackers, KJ Wright specifically did a great job against Jimmy Graham on Monday night against New Orleans Saints. How did that come about? Making sure that the linebackers or putting a linebacker on Jimmy Graham?
Well, during the early part of the week when we're putting together the game plan, we have a lot of ideas that are out there on the table, and I was particularly making the staff go through all of the ways we could match up and the ways we could handle the issues that they presented to us. And really, Kenny Norton wanted us to take a look. He said, well, he wanted KJ to take him. He thought he could take him for the most part. And I said, okay, we'll put together film. Show me, So because we had played a lot of good tight ends during the season, and we sat down and looked at about a 50-play tape of him covering everybody that he had played against, and he did so well. He was on it, And so that made us comfortable with that matchup. And then also we looked at Cam too in the same situations because they kind of traded off during the game, how we mixed our calls. And Cam had done a great job versus the tight ends to the point where we said, okay, we can get this done.
The 12th man set another world record. They also made the ground shake. What do you think of the nickname, the epicenter at CenturyLink Field?
That'd be pretty good. I don't know about how substantial those tremors are, but as long as they keep happening, you got to think about it anyway.
Well, this might be the last game, pretty much the last game that you coach at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. What's your best memory of Candlestick Park?
I do have one that stands out. We came out years ago when I was at the Vikings in the second round of the playoffs for us. They had the first round bye. we played just an incredible game against Joe Montana and Dwight Clark and Brent Jones and all those guys, the great players they had playing at the time, and we beat the heck out of them that day. So that was a big deal coming back home and getting that win. Then we went on to play in the NFC Championship game.
Hope that happens again tomorrow. Your Twitter question this week comes from @Rockhawk. Coach, you started deferring the opening kickoff almost every time. What's the strategy and thinking behind that?
We like kicking the ball, challenging the kickoff team right off the bat, challenging the defense to go out there and try to get a first series stop and make that first kick somewhere around midfield, and all of those positives, as well as getting the ball in the second half. And so it's always been kind of a mindset of really coming from a defensive minded standpoint.
Well, good luck on the coin toss and the game tomorrow, Coach.
All right, thank you.
If you have a question for Pete Carroll, send us that question on Twitter with the hashtag AskCoachPete. We'll read one or two on the show every Saturday night during the season. Again, that's hashtag AskCoachPete.
Coming up here on Seahawks Saturday Night, we have the brightest member of the Legion of Boom. The brightest member of the Legion of Boom. And we figure out the puzzling question about this Coke machine right here. Coke machine. Is it or is it not a Coke machine? Find out. Stay tuned right here. Seahawks Saturday Night. Coming to you.
With fun.
Welcome back.
49ers Sunday at 1, followed by in-depth analysis on Seahawks Game Day on Q13 Fox.
Welcome back here to Seahawks Saturday Night. We're about to get to know another one of my teammates who has the honor and privilege of being the first man down on kickoff every single time. Everybody give it up. A round of applause for my man, Chris Maragos right here. Chris Maragos, everybody give it up. So, where you from?
I'm from Racine, Wisconsin, just south of Milwaukee.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay, how many years you been in the league?
This is my 4th year in the league.
How does it feel to be a human crash dummy?
Hold on, is this rapid fire questions or what?
Yeah, this is. You don't get much time to think. Yeah, it'll slow down. Okay, it goes speeds up and slows down.
Human crash dummy. Well, I figure I gotta take the blow for the rest of the guys. Just being a good teammate. So if I go down there, mix it up a little bit, it makes everybody else easy.
Yeah, so you're the ultimate teammate.
That's it, man. That's all it is.
You're part of the Legion of Boom, yeah.
Legion of Boom, man. I'm the lighter side of the Legion of Boom,
gotcha.
if I must.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, we need that. We need to brighten our days every now and then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could be any superhero when you were a kid, what would you be?
When I was a kid, probably the Incredible Hulk, man, because I'm always a little guy. I always want to be the big, strong guy like you. You know what I'm saying?
So what you're telling me is you're suffering from little man syndrome.
Exactly right. I drive a big truck. It's like I want to be the Incredible Hulk. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, everything, right? I wear real tall shit, everything, man. Yeah.
What do you make of this Coke machine that has not one Coke in it?
I don't know. I think it's kind of false advertising, if I must. We got some rehydration products here. We got some protein products here. We got some carb energy drinks. We got everything but Coca-Cola.
But
products.
Coke, right? When you like a pick me up? When you like a pick me up during meetings?
Coke or Coke Zero or Diet Coke.
You know what I'm saying?
Something to the other, but I don't know. I'm a little thrown off here.
But yeah, I don't understand it, man. Thanks a lot, Ghost. Thanks you. That's Ghost. I don't have anything else for you. I wish I did. Fortunately, I gotta go back to work because, unlike last time, I'm on the field now. So I gotta go get ready. Y'all enjoy y'all day. Enjoy y'all night. Enjoy y'all week. See y'all next time.
Coming up, Seahawks Game Day's Ian Furness joins us to go over 3 things to look for in tomorrow's big divisional matchup between the Seahawks and 49ers. Ian Furness of Seahawks Game Day with the 3 things to look for in tomorrow's game.
Aaron, last time the Seahawks and the Niners hooked up, we talked about stopping Anquan Bolton. The Seahawks did just that. This time around, Vernon Davis is a concern, but historically, he hasn't been a Seahawk killer at all. In fact, anything but that. In his last 3 games against Seattle, just 4 catches for 47 yards, and historically, in his 13 career games, averaging just 3 catches and under 40 yards a game. So even with a depleted secondary, Vernon Davis hasn't done much against Seattle in the past. Next thing to to watch for is if it's a close game, and I think we all expect it to be probably a close game going into the fourth quarter. Seattle has a huge advantage in one area, and that's the quarterback position. In the fourth quarter NFL passing leaders, Russell Wilson is 11th. If you kind of break out some of the guys that haven't played all year, he's actually 5th in the NFL. Colin Kaepernick, 41st in the league in fourth quarter passing. Only Jeff Toole and a couple others are below him in fourth quarter passing, so this is a guy that hasn't had success down the stretch. Big advantage for Seattle there. And finally, how about an intangible for you? A lot of people this week are saying the Niners have more to play for. It's the old cliche in sports. Seattle doesn't have as much to play for. The Niners are trying to get into the postseason. I don't believe that for 1 second. You don't go 11-1 in this league without having something to play for. It's not in Pete Carroll's team's DNA to take any game lightly. Add into the fact that this is a rivalry. Remember a couple of years ago, Aaron, when the 49er coaches came running through the press box after a win on Christmas Eve in Seattle and said, "Merry Christmas." This is a rivalry. Seattle will be fired up on Sunday.
I got a prediction?
Yeah, well, let's be honest with you. This is a very, very good defense that Seattle's facing. Two real good defenses. I say low-scoring game, 21-17 Seattle.
Fingers crossed for tomorrow. A reminder, you can see the game right here on Q13 Fox, starting at 1:25 for kickoff. Ian's hopping on an overnight flight right now. We'll see him in the Bay Area after the game on Seahawks Game Day with analysis from Max Strong and Dave Wyman. It's all on Q13 Fox, your official Seahawks station. Enjoy the game, everyone.